The New York Rangers are one win away from sweeping their first-round Stanley Cup Playoff series thanks to a 3-1 win over the Washington Capitals on Friday night. Vincent Trocheck notching a goal and an assist in the W. And to help us make sense of it all, welcome in Anthony Rivera, co-host of the Total Hockey Now podcast, joining us to talk more Rangers. Anthony, thank you so much for getting up early on this Saturday.
Jason, thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
All right, man, let's talk about the performance in Game 3. The Caps struck early, but then the Blue Shirts got going. 2 goals in 2 minutes. What did that tell you about the focus of this New York Ranger team right now?
It took the Rangers 34 seconds to tie the game, and shortly thereafter they took the lead. The focus is there. The Rangers have depth, and every line is just clicking, including that fourth line, one which is very vital and very important, especially when you're talking about in the playoffs. The Rangers playing like, President Trophy winners they should be against these Capitals. But if I could be fair, play a little devil's advocate for a second. This Caps team just isn't any good. They had the worst goal differential of any team that was in the playoffs at -37. That's -37. They had a hot end to the season where, no one really grabbed onto the final wild card spot. So I thought maybe they could come away with a win here, but I think a sweep at the hands of the Rangers is quite possible and should happen. This isn't a true test for the New York Rangers because that test comes in the second round when they will probably play the eventual winners of today's game of the Islanders and Hurricanes, which will probably be the Hurricanes.
It's interesting you brought up the goal differential that the Washington Caps had throughout the season, because I got to ask you about the play of Igor Shesterkin, right? Like, he faced 29 shots in Game 3, only allowing 1 goal. So given the fact that Washington struggles offensively, what should we make of the performance of Shesterkin throughout this playoff series?
Yeah, he had 28 saves in last night's game. Doesn't seem like a lot of shots, but they were high difficulty shots, and the Cats had Igor on the top of his skates the entire night. Igor was in his element, right? It always is. The way he was sliding side to side, back and forth, nothing was going to get past him in net from the Caps. You look at this series, .932 save percentage, only 5 goals in the playoffs. I don't want to throw water on the fire, but like I said in the first question, remember, it's early on in this playoffs. It is the Caps. I want to see what he could do against the Hurricanes, in which I know he can play to this ability. This will be the measuring stick come next round.
Yeah, that will be very interesting. Hurricanes and Rangers, 2 best teams in the Metropolitan, and they've been on this collision course throughout the entire season. It's interesting you brought up the Hurricanes. They won a Stanley Cup back in 2006. Their head coach, Peter Laviolette. Peter Laviolette, now first-year head coach for the New York Rangers. So Lav has had an impact everywhere he's gone, helping those teams be successful. After 82 games and 3 games in the postseason, what do you make of Laviolette's first year in Gotham?
Right head coach, right team, right time. Last season was such a disappointing ending to the first round for the Rangers, losing to the rival Devils. There was so much talent on that team, and it was wasted, so they had to let Gerard Gallant go. Enter Peter Laviolette. He's taken every team he's coached to the playoffs. You mentioned it, a Stanley Cup championship with the Hurricanes. 3 teams he's taken to the Stanley Cup. That's a pedigree right there. He's the perfect guy for this roster and possibly to take them all the way.
Well, it should be interesting to see what happens with the Rangers, because once again, they're eyeing a sweep in Game 4 over the Washington Capitals. Anthony Rivera, thank you so much for joining us. Help us break down the season and the playoff run that is the New York Rangers.
Thank you so much. Can't wait to see Game 4.